Okay, people. So today I am joined by Deborah Madick to talk a little bit more, right? A little bit more about Super Happy Fun Clown. Deborah, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Uh, no worries at all. So, yes, Super Happy Fun Clown is, whoa, it's a ride, right? It's definitely a ride. How was this for you making it?
It actually was a lot of fun. I really like working with Patrick and with Eric. I've gotten to do a couple of things with them, and they're always, Patrick is so great. He's very organized. He knows what he wants, and I appreciate that. And he always has a really great crew around that are fun and fun and kind and all of that. So it was a really good experience. I really enjoy working with them, and Eric is, every once in a while I'd say, I know I'm supposed to say this, but is it okay if I say it like that? And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's great, yeah, do that," or whatever. And but that only happened once or twice. But
Mm.
yeah, it was a really enjoyable experience. Everyone was really chill, and it was fun. And the special effects guy, um, Jeff. Yes, Jeff. Anyway, he's a lot of fun, and I've gotten to work with him a couple of times. So you'll get to see his amazing work. It's it's really cool.
Oh man, yeah. Some of the the
Yeah,
effects
we don't want
just
to give it
feel.
away until you
Woo.
see it, but when you see it, you'll be like, "Whoa, that's cool."
Yeah, there are some very good moments in this
Oh
film.
yeah.
Ah, it gets creepy. It definitely gets creepy and
Yeah,
weird.
and then it makes you laugh. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, should I be laughing?" It's like, check yourself. What's up here? Yeah.
Mm. Like, what did you think of the story when you read the script?
Well, uh, when uh, when Patrick first approached me with it, he sent me the short to watch, and I was grossed out a little bit. But then I realized, well, the mother doesn't do. I play the mother.
Mm.
The mother isn't involved in those things, and I was like, okay. And then I started reading. Um, you know all of the stuff, and I was like, "Wow, oof, she's a piece of work. I can do that. That'll be fun." So sometimes it's fun to play the bad guy or the not so great parent.
Mm. Yeah, because that's the thing. The mum isn't involved, say, in the crazy killings,
Right,
but how much
exactly.
accountability do we put on the mum? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah, she's awful. She is just absolutely awful. And even when there's one scene in particular where Jen is an adult, and she's having dinner with her mom. So that scene is very it's one of my favorites. It's just it's brutal.
Mm. Yeah.
It's really, yeah, she's not she's a terrible mom. It's true.
Mm. Yeah.
And you can tell the way that she was so very uh, the way she treated both daughters very differently. The expectations of one and no expectations from the other, and just, yeah, it says a lot about the foundation of um, what parenting may or may not do. Not to say that this is some sort of whatever diatribe of parenting. That's not what I'm saying. But yeah, I definitely believe that the character of the mother is uh, a really strong influence on her um, formation. We'll just say it like that.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely see it's had the impact on Jennifer, which is yeah. I mean, that is easy to see. It's one of those interesting things, though, right? Like,
Hmm.
because it's always, there's oftentimes that conversation, nature or nurture,
Hmm.
right? And it's just, what is it, right? What's the
Right.
thing? Because we have seen people who have had the best parents end up
Yeah.
being pieces of shit. And then we've seen people with horrendous upbringings who have used that to become remarkable human beings.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what I mean? If everyone had the best upbringing,
Hmm.
would we be in the same place that we are
Mm.
as a, you know what I mean, as a
Yeah.
society? Because I think sometimes you need that hardship to really produce a diamond, right?
Mm.
Like when
Yeah.
you look at comedians, so many
Yeah.
comedians come from a like a shitty place, and it makes it
Yeah.
funny. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
people, you hear a lot of actors, right? There's a lot of, and especially a lot of MMA fighters and boxers who have come from a situation where they needed to find a way to get out of something, you know,
Right.
and so they became great actors, they became great fighters, and they used that to propel their situation
Right.
to
And I think it comes down to when you're in that situation, do you, because it comes down, I think, probably to free will, right?
yeah.
Do you choose to take what you've been given and make something of it, or do you throw up your hands and go, you know what?
Mm,
I Yeah. So do you persevere or do you continue on perpetuating this trauma or whatever it is that you experienced and say, well, that's how my life is? Or
yes.
do you say, I don't know, that's not what I want. I don't want that kind of life for me, or if I want to create a family, I don't want that to be the kind of life I create for my family. Um, so I think it comes down to when we talk about nurture and nature. I think those are definitely poignant arguments for sure, for both. But I
Mm,
think it comes down to the person's free will, what they and
yeah.
their choices. That they uh, do they do they want what do they want, or do they know?
Mm. Yeah, no, I definitely, I feel I agree with you on that one. You know,
Yeah.
I do think it's like it's easier to make a decision when you're coming from a good place, right? You've got a good foundation.
Hmm.
And there are times, making those good decisions, it can be tough, right? Especially when you don't see great examples around you.
Yeah.
So if there is at least, because a lot of times you do hear from some of these people, right? That
Hmm.
home life was bad, but
Hmm.
there was a teacher, there was a friend, there was some person that they could look to. Someone
Right.
was that lighthouse in the dark, and
Right.
that's a valuable thing. But it is down to the person. Like,
Yeah.
who do I want to be? You know?
Right. Well, in the film, one of the main things is, ever since her childhood, she was like her mom wanted her to be this child star and all of this. So this idea of celebrity
Mm,
or is entwined in there. So then she formulates this idea that, well, if I can't be a celebrity, I will be infamous, and that way I will live on forever also.
yes.
So this idea that I can be great at being bad. is ooh, that's a little
Mm,
bit, that's a sticky thing. But yeah, this idea of being never forgotten, leaving a legacy, and she unfortunately again chooses her legacy to be one of pain and suffering and killing and what have you. Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, definitely because do you think that line between infamy and celebrity has become blurrier over the years?
Oh, I definitely do.
Mm,
It's not as clear um, about uh, because I mean, and I think a lot of the celebrity that now has become infamy um, has to do with our connectedness now through digital media and all of that. Not to say that these things weren't happening before, we just didn't know about them,
yeah.
perhaps. Um, I mean, like, I'm just guessing, because I can't believe that it just started happening, right? And
Mm,
yeah. So in that context, the lines between, there's more gray. It seems like, that
yeah.
if we were on a spectrum and we had black over here and we had white here and we had gray in the middle, it was here because we had less knowledge. Now we know more of what is maybe hidden or wants to be hidden. So this gray area, well, they're a good person because they did XYZ. Yeah, they did that thing. Is
Mm,
that forgivable? Um, and or are we in a place of judgment? But there are things that are intrinsically bad. I believe there are some things that are just bad, and there are some things that are just good. But it's that essence of hmm, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking as I'm talking. I'm like, well, yeah. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but
no,
okay.
no, no, it does because I think, back in the day, you know, famous people were like the actors, were the sports people, you know,
Mhm.
and then you got to this point where it's just like you could become famous from a sex tape, right? You
Yeah.
could become famous for having a huge public disturbance. And then
Mhm.
suddenly everyone wants to talk to you, and it's just like, you had that girl from, oh, was it Dr. Phil? And she was arguing with her mum, and she's like, "Catch me outside. How about that?" You know what I mean? And then suddenly that blew up, right? And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she became a terrible rapper. You know what I mean? And then she got her OnlyFans supposedly blew up, which was kind of creepy. Everyone, like with the Olsen twins,
Yeah.
everyone counting down for them to reach an age, which is very weird. But
That was very disturbing to me. I'm like,
yeah,
"Seriously?
mm,
Gross."
but that's the thing. It's just like, so from becoming famous from like huge achievements, right? Breaking what being Usain Bolt, breaking a world record, winning gold medals, you know what I mean? Being a world-class actor, winning Oscars, putting on incredible performances.
Mhm.
You could now become famous for slapping someone in a bagel shop, right?
Yeah.
So it those lines became so blurred. It was weird.
Right.
So people were just kind of like, oh, because it was funny, right? I When I was at university, I was working at a cinema, and we got taken over by oh my god, was it the people that owned Paramount? Is it Redstone? The Redstones? I forget, but
Something. Yeah, anyhow, yeah.
yeah, and the CEO, she came and gave this speech, and she was just like, why be like that much better than your competitor when you can be that much? And that
Huh.
set the tone, right? People
Huh.
did not put in as much effort because you were basically told, why put in a whole load of effort?
Hmm.
And I think that's what we've seen. People, instead of going, oh, if I become, throw myself into this thing, if I study and train and perfect a skill,
Hmm.
it's just like, oh, if I just say some crazy things on the internet, right? If I shoot a video doing something off key, I
Hmm.
can become famous. And I think that's
Yeah.
what's kind of happened.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the motivation behind it. I mean, obviously, uh, well, not obviously, but there are, instead of working and becoming and achieving greatness, and your motivation is to be great at your craft or at your sport or whatever, this improvement idea versus I want to be known, period.
Mm. Yeah.
um, and just wanting to be known and to live in infamy or be famous or celebrity, your 15 minutes of fame, as it were, in the last century. That was a
Mm.
phrase then. but but I think it has to do with, why do you want that?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be famous? Why do you want celebrity? Because so I can be rich, so people will know me because I won't be forgotten. Versus, I want to be better at this
Mm.
because I love this, or this does something for someone else, scientists and what have you. I want to be great at what I do, not just for myself, because for my own personal satisfaction, but I think there's something good that can come out of it. Great actors telling important stories, versus stories that may or may not need to be told, and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
why, yeah, and in this film, she chooses, well, I'm not rich. Obviously, she's having some financial problems, and all sorts of things are going on in her life. So she chooses what she sees as the viable solution for her infamy, for her legacy.
Yeah. Because I think we see that Jen has just given up. It feels like, you know,
Mm.
I mean, a lot of things that you said to her. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We're putting the light back on you, young lady. A lot of things you said to her have made
Yeah.
her give up on herself,
Right.
and
She
it,
constantly berates her. I mean,
yeah.
like, who can handle that kind of pressure
Well, that's the
constantly,
thing. It's tough, right? It's not an
Yeah.
easy thing constantly hearing rejection and hearing negativity. You
Mhm.
you you can easily go into your shell. You can easily just give up and go, I will never amount to anything. And I think Jen has just gone, and especially you've got you know what I mean? You've got her husband, where I'm
Ugh,
just I don't even know where to start on that situation. But
right?
boy,
Yeah.
how the hell, like, just if you just think about how we see him, like how the
Mhm.
viewer sees him. But when you know what I mean, her sister drops that little bit of info later on in the film about him,
Right.
you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Wait a
Wait,
minute. That
yo, you
that
know what I
oh,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, so you've got that on one side, you on the other side. Isn't it meant to be
Mhm.
like the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other? Not two devils on your shoulders. Like, where do you
Right. She's
go?
proverbial in that rock and hard place.
Mm,
And when I see her, like, sort of the she flips the switch from just being Jeno the clown, that's in the park, making balloon animals and playing with the
Yeah.
children, and is a and she's in a place of joy. She's enjoying this, she's having fun and all of that, and then she goes back to her regular life, and it's just like, are you kidding me already? um but I think when she snaps all the way.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I think with her, it's just like nothing's going right. So I'm going to be infamous. And it doesn't really matter where it goes from there.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the thing. It's kind of like you kind of get the impression, well, I mean, I did anyway, that it's not about, oh, for years to come, things will be. It's just like, I don't really care what tomorrow is.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm good with there not being tomorrow if I at least have this one high.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, she does snap, but then there's this gradual, I mean, not to give away things, but it she made conscious choices. It wasn't
Mm,
just a reaction like, okay, this is happening and this is happening, this and have a snap. She made choices, and she's like, okay, well, and I think there's the motivation for that is um so strong, because it's this combination of, obviously, anger. Obviously there's a decent amount of anger, being treated poorly forever, being an quote unquote an invisible nobody, and then that being compounded by her mother's disapproval of basically every choice she's ever
mm,
made,
yeah.
um, and is not quiet about it. She's so nasty. But so you have that combined with it. So yeah, it's more than just anger. It's more than just a drive to be famous. There's more. There's
Mm. Well, I think
yeah.
when you have, like if you think about role models and the people you aspire to be, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that go, I want, back in the day, right? It's like, I want to be like Mike, right? Everyone
Hmm.
wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like Jordan, you know?
Yeah.
But then, because I've always thought it was very interesting, like when people are like, I'm Tony Montana, say goodbye to your little friend. And when I finally watched Scarface, I
Uh,
was like, wait, Tony Montana's a piece of shit. Like, why do you want to be Tony? Like, you know what I mean?
right.
It was kind of baffling to me because he's not nice. It's like when people want to be Tony Soprano, right? It's
Right.
just like that sometimes people are now gravitating to like the
Yeah.
Walter, people want to be Walter White, right? People want to be this character, this
Right.
person who they think, yo, they've got money, they got power.
Or
That
see, yeah, that was the thing that I was really hearing
mm,
from what you were saying. It's not so much that I want to be the perception of who they are, that, I mean, because you can't know unless you know them personally,
mm,
but this idea that they have power that I don't have, and
yeah,
I also want to be powerful.
yeah,
So this is a display of power that um I'm going to dismiss all of the Tony Montana killing and all of the other stuff. I like that he's powerful, and that's what,
mm.
you know what I mean? So
Well,
that's what they're gravitating towards, is that perceived power.
yeah, I think as well, right? Because
Yeah.
you know, people, want to be Jordan, but still people are like, well, he's not that good. I mean, I bet he wouldn't score on this person. He wouldn't do that. But
Right.
who's talking shit about Tony Montana? You know what I mean? Because you're gonna be scared. You're like, if he hears that, then you're fucked, right? So it's like, I think it's being someone who is
Hmm.
revered and feared.
Hmm.
Because if you've just been subjugated all your life,
Hmm.
it's just like, how can I get to a point where no one talks shit about me anymore? Right? No one blinks at me. No one does anything. Right?
Hmm.
People show me respect. Be like, yo,
Yeah.
if I'm the Godfather, if I'm Tony Montana, if I'm this person, then I get everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that respect, that power, that respect. And what's interesting is, um, we were talking about Nicole. You had Nicole on here,
Mm.
and Nicole doesn't give her any of those things
No.
at all. And it's very interesting, how she reacts to Nicole, because Nicole doesn't necessarily, her character doesn't necessarily berate her or whatever. She's looking at the facts. You did this, this, and this, and no. So yeah, so I think that's real interesting. Yeah, this idea of being powerful and feared and untouchable,
Yeah.
untouchable, and that's the kind or the flavor of celebrity that she is
Mm.
uh,
Well, I think
garnering for.
I think the thing with Nicole, right, with Detective Marshall, as
Hmm.
we say, um, because a lot of those people, right, it's the way they lived, right, the way they carried themselves, and the way they go out, right.
Hmm.
There's that blaze of glory people perceive them going out in,
Hmm.
and it's just like she wants that, but is she gonna get that? You know what I mean? And that's the thing that
Hmm.
gets played with. Patrick does well with that aspect of
Oh
things.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
There's-
Absolutely.
yeah, it is. It's a but then I think oh man, like because Jen makes all of these decisions, right? It's that thought of, well, I'm gonna become this. These are the final days of Jeno, right?
Mhm.
The only one, and Jesus, man, Jennifer, which is I always find that interesting when someone plays their own name, like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
but Jennifer did. Oh man, it's such an incredible scene with her and Ryan
Mhm,
because you can see let's just say it's not necessarily what is wanted, but it was a decision that was made.
right. Yes,
And
so that's very well put without giving it away.
yeah, I feel you see that, and it's so poignant,
Mhm,
right? But then, it's like the manager of the cinema. It doesn't actually if you think about it, it doesn't have to go down like that, but he's like, he gets said, she says that thing to him, and he's just like, okay, right? If you were just no, what are you talking? That's I don't know you. Shut up. No, no, no. If you
right,
just say
exactly.
no, if you act like a human being in that moment, we
Mhm,
don't necessarily get to where we get to. So I think that's she's dealt with so many cinema managers,
Right. Yeah.
that it, you know what I mean? That everything became easier,
Mhm.
even though there are those Ryans in the world.
Right. She feels justified.
Mm,
Absolutely justified because of all of the cinema managers
yeah.
that in her life. Yeah. Yeah, it adds not only fuel to her fire, but, I'm making this choice, but now I'm also justified.
Mm,
So,
which
you
is
know, all
woo,
bets are off now.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew.
It is kind of interesting when you look at what you've done, because you're this terrible mum,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then on the flip side you played Barbara Gordon. You know what I mean, which is complete opposite of things.
I've done this is the most, uh one of the most horrible people I've ever played. I did another film. It was a historical documentary, um, and and because it was a historical documentary, it was about an enslaved family that were actually free, and they ran into some challenges. Anyway, I played the owner, and that was another really horrible. Um, Person to play, but she was a real person. So,
Mm,
whereas the
uh,
mom was not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the Bella Fair?
Yeah, yeah, the Bella Fair, I played, Susan Armstead, so
Mm,
she was yeah, yeah, and that's all real, and that's all true, and yeah, but yeah, this film, this mom is I likened her, to the mother role in the movie Carrie. If you took that mother role
right.
and multiplied it times, I don't know, 100, you would come up with my character because she was just, yeah.
Yeah. You
Mm.
were kind of like, dance mums to the 10th degree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very much my child's going to be a star, and then when the child doesn't become the star, just letting her know how disappointed of a person she is to her,
Mm,
and not holding back ever,
no, no.
and even letting that grow as she becomes an adult. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah. Is that, because I do think, like, it shouldn't just always be "You're wonderful, you're great," because I don't think there's a benefit in that either. I think
Well,
that
true, yeah.
can take people down a dark path.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think constructive criticism is valid. Like,
yeah.
if someone comes home with a D and that they're capable of more, you'd be like, "Hey,
Mhm. Right.
okay, so we got a D this time. All right, how can we improve that maybe?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw you worked hard. So what was on your mind? Like, how can we help you get to a better place, right? Because I know you can do
Right.
better than this. You know what I mean? Like, talk to someone in a way where you're just like, all right, this is look, we can't change this result, but
Yeah.
we could do let's try and get better next time. What can we
Yeah, what can we
do
do to
to
improve
get
next
to that
time,
next
or
place?
or what was the hassle with that? Why did it turn out that way?
Mm,
So,
mm.
yeah. But yeah, I agree, this constant like, "Oh, you're amazing." There's no accountability, and now I'm infallible, is just as, detrimental, I would say, as constant berating. I think the constant berating has lots more psychological damage going on, but I don't think that the constant, "Oh, you're perfect, you're wonderful," not giving any correction or counsel or parenting in such a way that they understand that there are consequences, but also you can make improvements. And yeah, so yeah, it comes down to conscientious parenting, I think.
Yeah. It's when you've worked with someone and you can be like, oh, they've never been told no, right? They've
Right.
never been punched in the face for saying something crazy, right? So then
Right.
they're just the way they act is insane sometimes. You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh
sometimes,
no.
yeah. Well, I always get to, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? This time you don't get to. And then the fallout begins. Whoa.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cannot deal with criticism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's because I think the big thing here, because we have all of this going up against Jen,
Hmm.
but you can then look at it and be like, she doesn't make any good decisions because she's in a rubbish office job, right?
Right.
I mean, there is a thing, at least she has got some work, right? And
Right.
she's got a friend in the office. And also, when she's at the party, it looks like there's other people there who do like her from the
Yeah.
office. So it's
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of like it's not a terrible like the work itself is menial,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not a terrible situation,
Hmm.
but she could improve that. Right, even
Right.
if it's just another entry level type of role, there is the next level up from that, right? So she could go for
Right.
that, and then after being there, go for the next one and build and build and build until
Hmm.
she's in a better place.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
don't think she ever thought that she could do that.
no, I think that's one of the big things with
Hmm.
Jen is she I think it's after being like downtrodden, after hearing the you're not good enough, you're rubbish, you're terrible.
Hmm.
It's kind of like, well, this is as good as I can get, right?
Right.
This
This is what I
husband
deserve.
is
This is
yeah,
it.
what
Yeah.
I this is the what I deserve. This
Hmm.
is as good as it gets for
Right.
me,
Right.
which I think then sees her the whole situation with Ryan because it's just
Hmm.
like, well, I don't really deserve any better,
Right.
right? And it's just, you know, because she's doing the clown, because she wanted to be after seeing as a little girl seeing the clown in the park, right? So
Yeah.
that was the pinnacle because you just think even as a clown, you could do parties, you could do shopping
Yeah.
centers. There's other things you could do,
Yeah.
but this is it for her,
Hmm.
you know? So there is
Yeah.
just this crazy crossroads for Jeno, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just
Yeah.
like she could try and elevate herself, but with everything she won't. And then with all the oppression, like we have forged this twisted diamond.
Yeah. I think also too, Jeno becomes, um, you know, Jeno is her happy place. She
Mm,
loves being the clown. And so, because her life isn't so great, being Jeno is great.
yes.
So this alter ego takes on a bigger role, and uh, I think it also sort of I think it becomes the vehicle for her to even the score. This is how, and this is how I this this character, this Jeno, that being this clown makes me so happy, and all of this. So what would happen if Jeno took over my life for me?
Mm,
I don't know. That's something to think about.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because the one of the only positive kind of affirmations that she gets is her teacher, right? And she's drawing crazy images, and the teacher's like, "Oh my god, that's so good!" That's
Yeah, the art itself is good. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
like playing a role like this. Like, how do you kind of get into that mind space, and is it easy to get out of it?
Mm. Um, yes, it's easy to get out of because it's not a desirable place to live. She's not on my uh she's not a heartfelt character that I'm like, "Oh, she's so great. I just love playing her." I did enjoy playing her
Mm,
uh because of her character arc and the things that happened. Um But, there were a couple of scenes that were, difficult, um, to do just because they were difficult, but, um, because most of the time I'm with Violet, who plays young Jen,
yeah.
and, um and she's a fantastic little actor. Oh my gosh, she's great. She's funny. She's wonderful. She's also Patrick's daughter. Um, and
Ah,
there was a scene. Well, the. hmm, I guess I can say it. The spanking scene. I
right. Yes.
I had a tremendous amount of trouble with that. I didn't, as an actor, I didn't want to do it. But they were like, it's just a short, whatever, it'll be fine kind of thing. And, and as I have Violet over my lap and I'm kind of like, kind of doing it and kind of not doing it. I'm trying to make it look like I am doing it, but it's not reading and all of that. Violet just turns up and looks at me, and she goes, "Just do it, it's okay." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I mean, there was a pillow there and all that
yeah.
stuff, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, so I wasn't actually hurting her, but I was afraid that I would.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was very difficult for me, but yeah. And she's like, I'll scream louder." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, here's this little kid cheering me on to give her a spanking." It's like, "Oh, this that was hard." Um, uh, but everything else was okay. I could get into that place of just being uber judgmental, disappointed because and turning everything she did into a personal affront. Everything she does is a personal affront. Everything is because she's very self-absorbed. Everything's about me. Uh, so it was those kinds of scenes um, were okay. I was happy to be done with them, but uh, like the dinner scene, I enjoyed that scene because it kind of fleshed out our relationship more, and then you could really see who the mother really is, and just
Mm,
like, and even though this is an isolated incident, this isn't an isolated incident. This happens all the time. And uh yeah, that scene is brutal. Um and I did that one was that one was good. I felt like, okay, yeah, I've captured her um in this moment. Everything else uh was leading up to that moment,
yeah.
so I could to really flesh her out completely. So that's why I enjoyed it, because I could really show that character's thought process and where she's at and what she really thinks of Jennifer and all of those things. So
Mm. What
But
is
yeah.
it? Because we also have the phone call,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
realize you're not great on the phone either. You,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like some people you'll be like, oh, they're better in real life than they are on the phone, or they're better on the phone than they are in real life, and you're kind of a piece of shit either way, right?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And that whole phone conversation is just like it's just I almost felt bad for Jennifer, in that Jennifer the character,
Yeah.
in that scene because it's just like, everyone's had a conversation like that with their mom at
Mm,
some point,
yeah.
but this one was just, clumping one on top of the other, and it came at the worst possible moment, and yet I just felt so bad for her. It's like, "Oh, your mom's the worst."
Mm, yeah. It just was not great.
No, not at all.
Like, how is it doing like a phone conversation kind of scene?
Well, actually, my portion of the phone conversation was done in the studio ADR.
Mm,
I was watching the clip and doing it while I was watching the film. So I got to do that one in the studio. So I could see her reactions and things like that. So I could exacerbate that, if you will. Um, but yeah, that was kind of fun to do the voiceover in the studio, and watch the final clip as it was, or for the most part the final clip, what it would where it would be interspersed and all of
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
was that was actually pretty fun. So
Okay.
I kind of went for it, and
Mm.
it worked out.
Have you done those kind of scenes in real time as well?
No, actually I haven't. It seems to me that all voiceover stuff has always been, um, you know, in the studio
Yeah.
or ADR at some point, or something like that. But yeah, no, I've never been in the other room kind of like doing the off camera thing.
Mm.
Interesting question.
I think yeah, it's one of those things. I think only a few times that I've heard that they've done it at the same time, type of thing. Like you're both
Hmm.
actually having that conversation, but it is usually the ADR later
Hmm.
on, which is
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. Because you just wonder how, like, because like if you're trying to be like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person, I'll pretend I'm on the phone. It's like, hi, how are you? And then you're like, oh, that does not sound real at all. Right?
Yeah, not
That
at
sounds
all. Not at
completely
all.
off.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wonder. Like it
Mm-hmm.
does show the skill and talent in being able to do something like that and make
Yeah.
it come off as, you know, it's real. It's this real situation.
This is what I'm hearing, and this is how I'm reacting to that. And
Mm,
yeah,
yes. Like,
really good.
what is it, you know, about, like, because you've done the voiceover stuff, you've done the raw act. Like, how has it been perfecting those different sides of things?
Mm, good question. I found that it really all kind of goes hand in glove because one elevates the next. Um, and as uh, for instance, doing voiceovers or narrations and things like that, taking that experience from on camera or on stage and going, okay, so this is how this really feels, and this is how, you know, I don't know, if it's a commercial, how excited am I going to be about, I don't know, tummy medicine?
Mm.
for instance, right? So tummy medicine isn't necessarily an exciting thing to talk about, but as a voiceover performer, they want whatever they want, and they want you to be, understanding or empathetic or a best friend or what have you. And so taking those experiences from on stage and on camera and going, okay, so this is what a best friend talks like when or speaks to their friend about their tummy medicine. This is what has always helped me. So maybe you should try this. It's only such and such with such and blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
then you can yeah. So I think one all aspects come together and just help improve everything, really.
Mm. Yeah. And with narrating, like, because I imagine sometimes you're getting given a book and you're just like, I would not normally read this book, right? Like, this isn't, I would not touch this thing with a barge pole if I was spending my own hard money. But you've got to read it in a way where you know what I mean? You're breathing this life into it. Like,
Mhm.
how is that kind of thing for you?
Well, there's two. I come at it at two different aspects, really. I come at it technically, um, you know, punctuation, where I breathe, where I don't breathe, and the rhythm of the speech pattern of the character, depending on what kind of dialect or where they're from or what they're going through, whatever. So there's the technical aspect of just looking at the script and this is what this says, this is what this means, this is the most important aspect of this, this is where the inflection lies to create, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
So if I put the emphasis on the wrong word, then I'm getting the wrong meaning. But if I and then I'll hear it and I'll feel it and I'm like, oh, okay. So there's that very technical part of it, but then there's the aspect of who am I? What, the actor stuff. What is my objective? What am I trying to do to the other person? What do I need from them? Not what I want, but what I
Mm.
need, because we can want all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But what do I need? What can I not live without? And what am I going to do to get that need met? So those are the two aspects that I put into all of the work that I do, technical, and then after I've gone through it technically, I don't know, about 10 times, then I let myself be an actor and go, okay, so why are we saying this? Why are we saying it now? And why is it important? And if it is important, what am I trying to do to the other person? And what is that tactic that I'm using to win?
Mm.
So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that thing, right? Because I know having to write press releases about because I do communications, right? And so
Mhm.
having to write press releases and copy about things that you have no real interest about. But
Right. Writing copy is hard. And sometimes you get copy that's not so great, and you've got to make it great,
yeah,
period.
yeah.
Because that's what you're hired to do.
Well, yeah, and especially like one of the toughest things is I was working for an obesity charity, and it was probably the best job I've ever had. It was such a
Mm.
great because the team was incredible, right? And it was it was actually really interesting work, but I started up a blog. So I'm speaking with a lot because we had a load of events. So I got a load of the researchers and the scientists to write blogs to help promote the events and things like that. And you say this is the word count, and then you get sent this whole ream of stuff, and you're having to like break it down and make it palatable, but interesting while
Mhm.
it's still scientific. And sometimes you're like, wait, I don't know what this means. And you're talking to them and be like, okay, can you break this down to me? And they're like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, can you break it down again? but as if I'm a moron. No, if I'm stupider than that, because I still don't get it. And so you're just trying to then, you know what I mean, sell this thing that you don't necessarily know a whole lot about, but try and inject something into it. So there is
Mm-hmm.
this emotion, there is this thing. And that's always interesting to me, to be
Right.
able to do that to things that maybe you don't know a whole lot about, so you learn, right? You
Mm-hmm.
read up about it, you go, okay, so this is what actually that's really interesting. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
as a layperson, if I hit these points, that should speak to people. But then
Right.
when it's something that you actually have no interest in whatsoever,
Mhm.
you then have to go to that place of, okay, I don't care about this, but there's a load of people that do. So
Right.
what are the things that have people gravitate to this for? Right?
Yeah.
What are the pull factors here? And so you have to look at it like that, and then
Right.
find that USP that interests other people, which is
Uh-huh.
interesting. So I imagine it's
Yeah.
kind of a similar thing of like when you're breathing life into something that you might not care about as much, kind of
Mhm.
thing, is it like with a book? But it's just like finding the interesting thing, finding the human aspect of it
Mhm.
to make it interesting, you
Yeah,
know?
why is this important to someone else?
Mm,
So it's important because of this, and this. So these are the aspects that I'm going to point out, so that that will pique their interest, and the call to action to find out more or to get involved or what have you. So and it's interesting also. Um, to find I think it's almost more interesting to find out what is important to someone else. um so these are the key things. I mean, like, I'm not necessarily interested in it, so none of these really resonate with me, but the data says that, or the commentary says, or people are trending
mm,
about this, that, or the other. These are the aspects that are important to them.
yeah.
So okay, let's see what we can do for them you know?
Yeah, and it's kind of like when you're looking at movies, right? And so it's just like, you're reviewing films, and there's you go see a film, right? Or you get sent a film, and it's just like you wouldn't technically go watch this yourself, right? There's no interest here. But then you're looking at it, and like it's the technical aspects a lot of
Mhm,
the time. Even if I don't like something, a lot of times I can look at it and go, man, the score, it was a great score. They really put that together well. That worked so well with the film, right? The editing was sharp. The editing is on point. Some fantastic camera angles, like that opening scene when it comes over the hill. That was great. So you can look at aspects like that and go,
mhm,
those worked so well. Like this
mhm,
story was not for me, but this is a well put together thing, right? Sometimes it's looking at things, but then also going, okay, right? People, it's like Barbie. I didn't love Barbie, right?
okay.
But you can look at it and go, it was done well.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? And I mean, it's Greta Gerwig. Like, it's gonna be done well. You know what I mean? And
right.
you can look at all the components of it and go, yes, I can see why this would resonate to like young girls and other people, right? You can see why this worked on so many levels for other people,
Mhm,
even though it wasn't technically my cup of tea, but you can see how it works for other people. And I think that's always a useful thing, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and
mhm,
go, I know how this might work for me, but how does it work for others? That's an
exactly.
interesting one.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you enjoy Barbie?
I did. There were aspects of it I was like, but But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun film, and I think it had a message that was wrapped up in a really sweet wrapper, so it would be easily digestible to those that, if it were not in such a sweet wrapper, would have
Yeah,
been up in arms.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think that the I think it I think it was a well done film. Obviously, they had a lot of money to make a good film, and that's always helpful. And I think the overall message of it was good. There were aspects that I was whatever, but all in all, all in all, it was a pretty good film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting when you see a film like that, and because you know that they've been talking about trying to do this film for so long,
Hmm.
and you see the different creatives who they brought in to try and do it, and they just
Hmm.
it didn't work out. And then
Yeah,
you know you hear those people talk about it and be like, man, my take was going to be completely different to that. Or I
yeah.
tried to bring something to the studio and they weren't having it. So sometimes it's like the moment of time in which you try and tell a story. Like,
Hmm.
could they have done that Barbie like 10 years ago, 15, 20 years? You know what I'm saying? It's just like it
Yeah,
wouldn't have
yeah. The
definitely
timing
wouldn't have
has to be
worked.
right for certain messages, I guess,
Yeah.
or at least to be received.
Mm. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like I
Absolutely.
what I think when you're talking about doing the audiobook stuff, the narration and stuff, I think
Yeah.
I do a lot of audiobooks because I've got bad eyesight, right? And so back in the day, when you would get an audiobook and you could tell that there wasn't really the same thought behind it because people would, you know, it's like sometimes when you're reading a book and the character will say something and then it'd be like, as my heart was beating really fast. And the way they read up to that point was not that. You
Right.
know what I mean? So you're just like, oh, this was
And then I
horribly
said, "I
funny.
love you." My heart was beating so fast, I could barely get the words out. I mean, like, seriously? Come on now. Did you read this ahead of time, or are you just reading it as you go? Yeah. There are some like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good when you hear people talk about it how you talked about it. You know what I mean? But you'd be like, oh yeah, that person. And I noticed a big difference when I discovered Audible. Because
Mhm,
before, you know, you're getting a load of audio books from like the library, and some of
mhm.
them were like, you could tell they were cheaper productions and things like that. But then
Yeah.
discovering Audible was a game changer because you
Yeah.
actually got books that were read well, right? And
Yeah.
they found good narrators for things. Because sometimes,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I usually
picking
like,
up.
the ones on, books on public access are usually done by volunteer
Yes.
narrators who may or may not have any experience. And a lot of people that get started doing audiobooks, they start there, because, I mean, you don't get paid or anything, you're just
Mm,
volunteering. So, but it's good practice.
yes.
So consequently, you could get one chapter that was just wow. And then the next chapter is just like, oh, this person is so good. They really transported me there. And I could
Mm.
smell the flowers and feel the grass. It was great. And then the next chapter is just like, oh, oh, can I skip this chapter? Will I miss a lot? So yeah, Audible does have really uh they have good standards as to the recording and all of that. So I'm glad you found that, and there are others too, and I'm not saying that all public access
No,
voiceover is
no.
bad. Please don't get me wrong, some are very good. I mean, I did it too. If you listen to Golden Slipper on LibriVox, then you'll hear me in the beginning days, which some of it's going to be good and some of it's not going to be so hot, but it's still a good story. So,
But I think it's, you know, a bit like with everything else. It kind of like the person doing it, what are they trying to do? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, how are they putting in that work? Are they trying to perfect? Because you say there was some, I did a lot of Agatha Christie back in the day. Hercule
Oh
Poirot
yeah.
was one of my favorites. And
Oh
so it's just
yeah.
like some of those audiobooks were great. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And, and
Yeah.
and then some, you hit some that were just like, and they went into the room and he said Hastings, and you're just like, oh god damn, this is painful. Right? This is painful.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it is a little it's tough. We'll just say that.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Like, you've done film, you've done shorts, you've done some TV. Like,
Mhm.
what is it like going across those kind of different formats for you? How do you find that kind of thing?
Um, well, they're all very I mean, it's all acting. Let's not be confused by that. It's all acting, but the demands or the requests or requirements, however you want to phrase it, are all different for each style
Yeah.
of storytelling. Um, you know, on camera um, is a it's you've got to really keep your head in the game because you have to know because that you don't always shoot in order. You don't always shoot whatever, like
Yeah.
it's different. Whereas, stage performances straight through, that's that. And there's no, I'm sorry, cut, go back to one.
Mm,
There's no there's none of that. You've got to be ready for it. Whereas, on camera, you uh have to have that sort of stage mentality of get it right the first time because there is no second. You have to think that, well, I might not get a second take. Well, I'll get a second take for safety, but you don't have the luxury of all that time to do 45 takes of you sitting in the car or sighing or whatever. You got to get it right the first time. And then or be flexible enough to tell the story and be on the same page and add a little bit of this or add a little bit of that. Whereas on stage, it's all front loaded, right? It's
mm,
the whole rehearsal process, and I love that rehearsal process and then performing. Whereas, on film, I mean, you have some rehearsal, but it's not this whole character development and all of this stuff and the chemistry between you and your castmates and all of that. It's very different. Like in this show, I was on set with Nicole twice
right.
because we don't have any scenes together
Yeah.
because that's chronologically that doesn't make any sense. But so like when I yeah, so they're very different and they have different demands, but the bottom line is acting and understanding who you are, why you're there, and what the story is that you're telling, and what part of the story am I in.
Mm,
Am I telling my portion of the story uh, in a congruent manner with the rest of the story that's being told? Um, Even though I've never seen any of it, or I mean, I've read it, but I haven't seen it and I didn't see it acted or shot or anything. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
yeah, that's a really great question. And then, voiceover stuff, that's all me in my booth by myself,
Mm,
going, ugh, and trying not to be, you know, being critical enough, but not such a critic that I don't get anything done.
yes. Is that the hardest thing, like doing like the booth ADR kind of work?
Well, I will say this. I had to do some ADR work on finding joy. And that was really, 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 really hard. It was really hard because I had to match my intention, my inflection, my everything, um, that I had shot, a year ago.
Mm.
And now I'm revisiting that, and oh, if and the director was so patient with me, Val was so kind, and she's like, "Almost, you almost got it. I need this part now, blah blah blah." So it took me quite a few goes at it to get it, um as well as I could, as good as I
Yeah.
could get it. And I still, even when I see it, I'm like, "Ugh, I should have done XYZ. I still have feel like, I wish I would have done this or that. But
Mm.
yeah, I find ADR very difficult to do.
Yeah, my friend, who's a great director and writer, Daniel Glenn Barber, right? He had last year he put out a kind of a TV YouTube series called Making a
Mhm.
Short. And so I was able to see some of it being shot, and I saw them do some of the ADR, and it's just like, oh man, right? Because it's having to get everything just spot on and be like, okay, no, 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 no. Because last time you start off at this level, so you've got to come in more like boom, 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 rather than hey, you know what I mean? And it was
Yeah,
just trying
exactly.
to
And
match.
you took a breath there. Don't forget to take a breath there.
Yes.
After you said that word, you went, and then you took a breath. So make sure that's in
Hmm.
there because you're
Yeah.
on camera when you do that.
Yeah. I know. It's just like, no, no. So you sped up that middle bit a bit too much, right? You need
Hmm.
to pace that a bit more. And I'm just sitting there like, God damn, I'm glad I don't have to do this.
Yeah. So I was really thankful with Super Happy Fun Clown that the ADR was fit in. I didn't have, there were only a couple of things that I had to go over myself. And so those were much easier. And of course I was freaking out. I was like, it's like, oh, I don't want to do ADR. Please don't make me. But it turned, I'll do anything but ADR. No, but it turned out to be very pleasant, and it wasn't as complicated as the other thing that I had to do. And that one was just, it was just hard. It was just, it was, there was no way around it, and
Yeah,
you have to do what you have to do. But this one was much easier. So not all ADR are the same,
yeah.
but sometimes they can be so complicated and challenging.
Mm, yeah. I mean, do you think about, ADR now when it comes with AI, like, and the fact that maybe they use that to do it rather than calling you back in to do it. Like,
Oh, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I don't, if they can synthesize my voice properly and hmm, interesting. That's an interesting thought. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I do know that there are a lot of companies and want voiceover artists to um, they want to pay them a lot of money to get their voice data,
yeah,
so they are the voice of their AI.
yeah,
And there's that, it's pretty controversial because they are going to pay you a lot of money, but
once.
that's only once.
Yeah.
Especially if you're non-union. If you're non-union, then
Yeah.
yeah. If you yeah. So but yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that you know, if they like your voice and they want to use your voice for AI, they'll pay you a lot of money, but they're only going to pay it once, and
Hmm.
but they're going to use it in perpetuity, aren't they? So,
Yeah. I mean, it's I think it's an interesting
And it
situation.
crosses over into intellectual property, doesn't
Well,
it?
yeah, of course. I
Because
mean, you
that's my voice or your
yeah.
voice.
Well, there's the Scarlett Johansson situation, right?
Mhm.
With I think there was OpenAI, wasn't it? OpenAI, I think it
I think it
was.
was OpenAI. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but anyhow,
And
yeah.
because they're like, oh no, we didn't use her voice. We used someone that sounded like her, which just that
Which
is
could be,
weird though,
yeah,
right? Because it's just like you spoke to her. She said, no, I don't want to do it. So instead of going, okay, that's cool, you're like, oh, could we get someone that sounds like her so then people think it's her? Like what? Because why are you trying to get someone that sounds like her if you aren't hoping people think it is her? So if
right.
you that isn't even a good argument because they're like, no, 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 we
No,
didn't just use her voice. We probably someone that sounded like that's not a good argument.
yeah,
That's
I mean, like, you
messy.
can't say that it's a voice stunt double. I
No,
mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works.
yeah, that is that argument
Or
of
rather, it shouldn't work like that,
yeah,
I
that
should say.
is kind of similar to that whole argument of no, I didn't cheat on you. All we did was kiss, right? That's that,
And it didn't mean
that's
anything.
that, right? It's just like, yeah, it didn't
Retrospectively, it
mean
didn't mean
anything.
anything.
Yeah, it's just like, shut up. That's such a
Really?
dumb thing.
Your lips are still moving. Let me know when they stop. Yeah.
So it's just, I think we saw it with that, and it was she won. So I think
Yeah.
that was a good thing. And I think the difference between like when you look at the internet and data, there's no one knew, right, how valuable data was. So you would sign up to something and you don't want to read those pages and pages of terms. And so you just be like,
Terms
yeah,
of
it's fine.
service that go
Yeah.
on for 45 pages. Yeah.
And then you realize, because I remember seeing a thing going, Facebook can use any image you upload. So, your family photos, if they want to run an ad, they could use those family photos.
Hmm.
So I just stopped uploading like stuff like that on Facebook. I just, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because I'm just like, ooh, but you didn't know. So these companies have your data. But I think
Hmm.
with AI, we have more of an understanding in a way. So you can be like, I'm not signing that where you can just use my voice, right? You,
Right.
you have more, I think there's a bit more control over those things,
Hmm.
you know?
But but here's the other, just to be the, just to poke the bear a little bit. There are people that make a living as voice actors because they do sound like James Earl Jones,
Oh, for
or
sure.
they do sound like, someone who has a remarkable voice that is very well known, but uh and they make a living because they sound enough like them. They don't market themselves as that, whatever, but yeah, it is in their wheelhouse to sound like, for instance, James Earl Jones.
Mm.
I just pick him because his voice is so well known, and
Oh my God.
so,
Yeah.
and I've seen several voice actors that, yeah, I sound this. This is who I sound like, and they make a living from that. And so I say all that to say this: if they can't afford James Earl Jones and they hire that guy, is that wrong?
Mm.
But I think it is wrong if they market it to be James Earl Jones instead
Well,
of,
yeah.
do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
difference?
yeah.
I don't know, but this is the quandary, and that's what I propose to you. What do you
Mm.
think?
Well, as you said, I think it's like because people, it's when people go, you think something and they don't correct you on that thought. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Hmm.
oh man, like I can't believe it's that. And you're like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, so it's nice today, right? And you're not going, oh no, 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 it wasn't that. It wasn't that. So
Yeah,
the thing
right.
was, it went
The
like this.
lack of
So
correction, letting
yeah,
people
so
assume.
if people are like assuming it's James L. Jones and you're not going, or you're the way that you're using imagery and things to kind of steer people in that direction, then that's messy. But if you're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going, man, we've got this thing and bum, bum, and this is the story and blah, 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 that's fine.
Right.
But if
I
you're
think it would be
trying
funny
to,
if James Earl Jones sold our pizzas,
yeah,
and they have him you do this funny thing. And then, in your mind, you're like, that sounds like James Earl Jones, but you're like, that's not James Earl Jones. He wouldn't sell pizza.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, it's a lot. There's
mm,
a, because I mean, like the integrity of it, I don't know. It's a lot.
yeah. I think it's just the transparency of the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
Hmm.
when there's transparency and you understand what something is, it's fine. But when they're trying to hoodwink you, then
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
where it's all very swirly.
Yeah. Because like with Scarlett Johansson, they were definitely trying to,
Oh, for
uh,
sure. For
yeah,
sure.
that
They
I know
wanted
she didn't do it, but this is someone who sounds like her, and
mm,
we're gonna act like it's her. And then when you ask us, we will say, well, no, it's not her.
yeah. Yeah.
That's super shady.
Well, the weird thing about all of that as well is because she was AI in that film Her. Right? She was the voice of the AI, so it's kind of
Yeah,
like it was that such a weird kind of situation. But yeah,
yeah,
they tried to do something, and
yeah,
they got caught.
yeah.
They got caught out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I don't know. It's interesting because I think AI has definitely got some. It's got things it will be good for,
Hmm.
but I don't think it can take away from good storytelling and good acting and all of those things right now
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't I agree. I think you need the human element for good storytelling. I don't think I think AI can be helpful, sketching out a story or outlining things. But I think it takes the human touch to create empathy, to
Mm,
create abhorrent situations that are appalling, and then or what have you. I think the emotional and sympathetic and uh, empathetic aspects of humanity are the most important part of our storytelling. I mean, like a story is a story is a story, I guess, once upon a time, the end. But what comes in the middle, if it resonates, I believe it has to have that human touch. It has to have that human truth. And I don't know if AI is capable at this point anyway to replicate that.
no.
And that's what AI does. It replicates. It is a
Yeah.
learning machine, but we have to teach it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But it's just, when you look at, Super Happy Fun Clown, right? Could AI do the bedroom scene? I don't think it
No,
can because
no.
there's the nuance in the delivery and everything like that, but then the facial expressions and there is
Mhm.
so many layers of that scene, right?
Mhm.
It's just even like the scene with you and Jen having dinner.
Mhm.
Now, like I think if you said to AI, do this scene, you could have someone being mean, but it's not just being mean, right?
Mhm.
It's a
Right.
layered situation. It's very much picking at these little threads, and I
Yeah.
think I don't think AI is that nuanced. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I mean?
agree. I do. I agree. I don't think, I mean, if AI were to play my character, she would just be mean,
Yes.
and she would be uh, a two-dimensional villain.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I like to think, anyway, that I bring a three-dimensional character, a person that has her own hopes and dreams that have been dashed and has been hurt and has her own pain, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. And since you disappointed me, you get all my pain too. You
Yes.
get my pain, and I'm going to make sure that you understand how, uh, you know, how upset I am, but beyond, and what layer of upset, and how that, how your actions have destroyed me,
Mm.
or whatever, like you ruined my life by not being a child star.
Yeah.
This is your fault. Live
Well,
with it.
yeah, because
You know
you're
what I mean? Like it's
banking
so
on
harsh. Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
that. And yeah, she didn't reach those things. So now it's
Hmm.
just like your life is reflected on her achievements and she didn't achieve shit. So it's just,
Right, right. And yeah, and she's even more frustrated by that,
mm,
and not having good quality parenting skills at all. She just, just shreds her.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I don't think AI is doing that, right?
Yeah, I don't think AI can do that.
No, it's when you look at, you know, a Hallmark rom-com, and then you take something like Garden State, right?
Mhm.
There's this huge difference between the two, and I think
Right.
that's where we are with AI. Like it
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
hit it. It could, I think, it could make those kind of equivalent of the films that you find on like sci-fi and certain channels at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, right? It can make those kind of films, but it's not making an Oppenheimer. It's not making an Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. It would
Mhm.
never make a Richard Linklater before trilogy. You know what I mean? You're not getting
Yeah.
that kind of film out of AI right now.
Yeah, you can go with the it if you could plug in AI to this is the trope, this is the generic thing. We've got a hero with an internal battle and they're on a quest. Okay, so AI is gonna create that, but they're not gonna create Lord of the Rings. They're
New.
gonna create some sort of like, Polly the porcupine has a rough day, it's that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's gonna be
Uh,
Red Sonja. Oh man, I feel bad. Like, because I know a lot of people worked on that, but it was just, ooh, oh, it was painful. But yeah, it's
well, not all of them are going to be a winner.
no,
That's what's so interesting too about films, especially independent films. You shoot them, and as an actor, I have no idea what distribution's going to do, or
mm,
what festivals what's going to do. You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
know. I just show up and say my words. To
yeah.
oversimplify.
Have you?
But I mean, like, you never know what's gonna happen, with it. So it's,
Mm,
it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and I'm really excited that, this film got, to go to London. I mean, like, wow, that's exciting. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that's the thing with storytelling, right? And great storytelling. And I think it's the big thing about removing barriers. You
Mhm,
know what I'm saying? Because
mhm,
if you have all of these things in place, right, and you're like, only these people are allowed to tell stories,
mhm.
you're only gonna get a certain type of story, you
Right.
know. And we've seen like even great storytellers, they don't always hit, right? Everyone's got a few that just don't really work that well. It's
Yeah.
just the nature of things, you know what I mean? But it's just like by opening things up, you allow these new voices to give us things like Super Happy Fun Clown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just like when you see some of the press images that get sent, right? There's one with her, Jeno, licking a spoon, and you're just like, oh, okay. Then you see what led up to that, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
every time I see that image of her licking the spoon, I'm like, because I know what's on the spoon. I'm like, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
Eric is so creative. I mean, like, as a writer, he's just he did an amazing job with the script. And he mentioned one time, he's like, when I was writing it, he's like, I've never written anything that like scared the crap out of me like that. He was like, yeah. So yeah. So I don't think AI could ever um replace Eric at all.
no, no. It's
Yeah.
the other day I looked at a film, right? It was this short Les Tres Valus, right? And
Mhm.
oh my God, this film was so good. I think it translates to was it the free waltz, the third waltz. Um
Mhm.
and it's this film and it dealt with like relationships and loss. And it was, oh man, it was done in such this incredible way, you
Mhm.
know? And you just go, AI is not doing that, right?
Right.
It is not
Yeah.
going to be able to hit that level of emotion, right?
Yeah.
And invoke so much in
Yeah.
you as a viewer as you watch these people navigating this thing and just the way it's shot and just all it's not doing that,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, understanding the relationships, regardless of the scenario, the relationships, what are these relationships about? Am I embracing you or rejecting you? And at the same time, are you embracing me and rejecting me? And what
mm,
happens when those things get mixed up together? Are they oil and water, or are they, you know, water and water, and it's
yeah.
harmonious, or is it conflict, or is it tension? Yeah, I think you need people, you need actors and good writers for that. And I agree. I am not convinced AI can do that.
Mm, no, no. Because yeah, like, I think, and as I say, like films like Super Happy Fun Clown are just the evidence of that thing, right? Of
Yeah.
just across the board, like great story, great dialogue, the incredible direction, and
Yeah.
really just remarkable performances, and
Yeah. I mean,
it,
like, how else are you gonna get a kid to, I mean, like, you can't have an AI kid have the nuances and facial expressions that Violet gave.
mm,
That's not gonna happen because, she's curious and she's scared, or like, she's got all these things at the same time. And, yeah, yeah, I think definitely, definitely.
yeah. Do you have your next role lined up?
I don't. I'm floating around right now. I've got a stage management gig. I'm gonna be stage managing a play
Oh,
in a couple of months, and doing some stuff with uh some voiceover stuff. But no, I don't have a stage or a film coming up yet. But you know what? y- the phone might ring as soon as we're done, and I go,
mm.
"Oh, well, never mind, I do have it now." I
Like,
never know. It just shows up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome, really.
Is there like a genre that you really love to do, or is there one that you haven't been able to step into yet and you're like, I would love to do that?
I like I you know, I used to this sounds terrible. I don't like horror films. And and Patrick knew that. And meanwhile, I've done like what, two, three. I've done three horror films with him. Um, so I can't say that anymore. Um, there is um I I like acting and I like telling good stories. The um I like stories that have a universal sort of resonance to them, and I haven't been able to step into, because I've aged out of some things and I'm aging into something new now, which is great. Um, but I think I'd like to do, I haven't been able to do a sort of a period piece, a period film piece. I would
Oh,
like, well, that's not true either because I did the Bell Affair, which is a historical um, drama. But
hmm.
so no, I guess I'm a big liar. There's nothing. I would like to do a space Star Trekky kind of thing.
Okay.
That would be fun. I'd also like to do like a close family drama. And I'll just put it out there. I'd really like to have Anthony Hopkins play my father. So if we could get that together, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, put it into the world and it
Just
could
put it out
happen.
there
Yeah.
and maybe it'll. So we heard you wanted to do a film with Anthony Hopkins. Here
Hmm.
you go. Well, thanks. That'd be great. I
When
just
that
want to work at it.
happens,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
remember this.
Exactly. Yeah, there's
Oh,
I'm interested in storytelling and playing and because I believe it's a didactic tool, not necessarily didactic in the sense of educational, but I think of introspective,
mm.
that sort of thing. And yeah, and I think there's a lot of, and I also think there's room for just fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I want to do a big fat comedy. That would be a lot of fun.
In what are the kind of comedies that you enjoy? What kind of thing are we thinking, maybe?
Um, well, I'm thinking uh kind of like a bridesmaids kind of thing,
Uh,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
silliness. It's where it's, not only silliness, but it's also situational. So I think that's a lot of fun. So
Ah,
yeah,
Bridesmaids
yeah,
was fantastic. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed that.
Only murders in the building, that kind of suspense, mystery, comedy situation. I find that to be delightful. So yeah, I'm ready to step into that stuff. Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, it's out in the world now, Deborah. So
Yeah.
it's gonna
Okay.
come to you.
Okay.
Awesome. How can people keep track of everything that you're doing?
Well, I have a website that I need to update, which is deborahmadick.com. And that's where I am with acting and voiceover, and I teach kids. I'm a youth acting coach
Oh,
in
nice.
Kansas City. Yeah, yeah. So I've got kids that are learning how to do on camera acting as well as stage acting. So that's a lot of fun. So
Mm,
yeah. So if there are kids 11 to 17 that want to get some coaching, they can they can get in touch with me. I do that too.
Okay.
So
Well, hey,
yeah.
great person to learn from. Yeah, I mean, so that's
Well,
all.
thank you very much.
Well,
That's kind of you.
tremendous. Hey, well, the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? I've been out to watch your work, so it's just like I know what you're able to do. You know, so it's awesome, man. So I forget, do we have a release date for Super Happy Fun Clown?
I know it's playing in Leicester Square at the, what is it, Ogden? I'm not sure what the name of
Yeah,
the theater is.
the Odin Lux in
Is it
Leicester
the
Square.
Odin? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's there on the 24th. And my cousin's going to be able to see it too. So that'll be
Ah,
fun. Yeah. So
nice.
um so I think after it premieres on the 24th, I think then we are going to be able to throw it all around.
Awesome. 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 Well, people, if you are in London, and you get the opportunity, definitely go see the film. Yeah, we'll put any of the release information on the website
Oh, great.
when that becomes clear. But yeah, all the
Yeah,
links will be there.
I'm not privy to all of that information.
Yeah, yeah, I'll ask Shirley, because I feel I've got the information somewhere, but I cannot
Yeah.
remember for the life of me. But it will, if we've got it, it will be on the website, or go to the Horror Collective website and you'll be able to
Yeah.
find it there. But yeah, Super Happy Fun Clown. Great performance from Deborah, great performance from
Thank you.
Nicole. Um,
Hmm.
just great performances across the board. So people, make sure you go check that out. And yeah, follow Deborah. Her socials will be on the website, so you can go follow her there. If you need a voiceover actor, if you need an actor, right? If you need to play someone to play Anthony Hopkins' daughter, Deborah
I'm
Madick.
here. I am available for that. He just turned 88. He just had his birthday.
Ah,
So
I mean, it's just a tremendous actor.
I know. That's why I want to do a film with him. I just want to sit at his feet and go,
Yeah, just
okay,
so
yeah, all
good.
right. I know, right?
There are those people that are just so good, and you just want to be like, yo, like, I need to get some of your talent by osmosis.
Just,
Just like,
yeah, I just want to, just a little bit. I don't need all of it. I just want to get a little rubby rub. That sounds weird. You know what I mean?
that's gonna be what they clip. That's what's gonna be
Right.
what they clip. Just Deborah Madick be like, I just need a little rubby rub. You'd be like, that's gonna be everywhere
Right.
now.
It's a meme now. Oh, great. No. So out of context. So wrong. Mm. Elbow rub. Ugh. Stop. Just
Unlike
stop.
Jennifer's
Yeah.
mum, you're famous.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, ridiculous.
Oh man. No, this has been
Well,
great.
I had to say or do something that wasn't quite right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh boy.
No, I very much appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping by. I
Oh, it
appreciate
was
it.
my pleasure. You are a delightful person. I've enjoyed this very much.
Ah, thank you very much. Make sure that you stop by when you have your next film to talk about, okay?
My pleasure. I absolutely will.
Outstanding. All right, well, people, make sure you check out Super Happy Fun Clown and then everything else that Deborah Madick does, okay? Deborah, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
You too. Have a good evening.
All right, bye.
Bye.